Hello again from Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. In this video, I would like to talk some more. I had a previous video about the accounting database and general ledgers and extensive search features. Let me go ahead and click that button. But I'd like to talk some more about when you close your books at year end, what happens is that all of your income statement accounts like sales, cost of sales, general admin expenses, etc., basically get closed into some equity account called retained earnings or owner's equity or whatever you choose. When you post a closing entry as of a year end date, then all of a sudden all your balances in those income statement accounts become zero as of that date. Now what I'd like to talk about is after you've closed the entry, somebody decides to come along and post an entry dated on or before the date of that closing entry to an income statement account. And I think CHS will warn you about that, how that found a closing entry, but also if you just went right past that or somehow ignored it, um, there's a way to search the accounting database for entries that were created after the date you created the closing entry. So I'd like to kind of go over that because it can be helpful if you say you have a hard income statement that you printed out, hard copy, gave to your CPA, but now if you run an income statement for that year, it's a little different, and you may be wanting to see who posted something with a date on or before that date after the date that you created the entry. So let me try to demonstrate that a little bit. Let's go to the full accounting database that we were looking at in the previous video, and we'll use some search features. I'm going to start with just searching. Now forgive me because I'm using data where there was hardly any data really entered in the year 2015. But you'll get the idea anyway, I think. So we only want to look at our income statement accounts, which starts with sales here. And it basically, if you go down to the 3000s, which I just clicked a 3 and got there, usually your income statement accounts come right after ones that have to do with equity and retained earnings and paid in capital. So I started with that one, 3000. And I'm going to go down here. I don't want that balance forward clearing account. I'm just going to go to my last one. And all of these accounts I know as the accountant are the accounts that were all zeroed out because I did do a closing entry for the year of 2015. But let's just take a look at just the records for that year in those accounts. And let's just submit a search. And what you can see, I want to focus on the remodeling and the cost of sales remodeling in this case, just because of the simple entries we have for those. You can see that they were posting into sales things from accounts receivable where they were billing their buyer, this payor, for some amounts for just a simple little remodeling thing I made up actually, so don't pay attention to it. It was like just some framing labor and framing materials is all I did. And then I was billing them for it. Actually, you can see those were posted down here to cost of sales with cost codes. And then I ran a job cost billing that billed the customer for that. So let's just think about these cost of sales. They were actually $3,700. That was part of our income statement. When we do it in, then when we did an end of period closing entry, which closed all of these out, so you'll see all of these are coming out to zero. And you do this closing entry using a tool in CHS, and it's just running through and closing all of these to probably, I think in this builder's case, it was owner equity, and closing all these balances. So these were debit balances, so a credit entry was made to clear it out. But what I'm wanting to show you is, see this end of period closing entry, that's lingo CHS puts in when you create this journal entry that starts with CLS for close and the month and the year that entry happened for that whole year. So it was 2015. But if I slide over here, I can see but I actually did not create that closing entry for 2015 until July. I guess I was late in doing my work, but it's actually just because I was demonstrating closing the other day. I'm now in July 2016. So I did that on July 7th, and I printed hard income statements, and I can see that I did that on July 7th. Now let's just go see, let's say we got some other strange bill from the framer, we didn't get it paid, but we somehow want to bring down our income for 2015. We want that cost of sale to be in the year 2015. So let's show you what happens if I go and I decide to post that bill to that little job. And let's say it's just another bill from the framer for whatever reason. We never paid it, or something happened later. Who knows why we have this bill all of a sudden in July that we're going to post in 2015. And we're wanting to get it into our general ledger and accounting database in the year 2015. And so we're going to select that same job that we're basically doing a little remodeling, and we actually are going to change our date to 12/20/15 for whatever reason. It said it's before the beginning date of our current period we have set up. We're getting a little warning about that, but we set up our current period to allow entries outside of that date. So that gives you a little clue, a clue that you're posting something. If the accountant closed the books and then went and set this current period after closing the books from January 1st, 2016 to 12/31, that would first of all give that person making the entry some clue that I should just only be posting things in 2016. But I still decide, and let's just play like they had some invoice number, and we'll just do a cost additional framing. I don't have no idea what this is for. But let's just make it be 500 to make this simple. So we've got it to that date, and maybe we don't pay it yet, but it's going to be in our database of records. It's telling me that we're being over budget and stuff, of course, because of what I just did. But we'll just post it to pay later, so we don't have to spend time attaching or printing a check right now. But that gets it into the general ledger as of 2015. So let's go back to all of our accounting transactions. Let's resubmit our search that we did. And let's take a look at that cost of sales account. Oh, I put it to 1430. That was just stupid. Stupid. It's not what I wanted to talk about. Let's go over here. Post payable bills. Let's go to unpaid payables. And let me do that Acosta real quick. Let me get that GL number changed. It's because that's what drops in, because most of ours are custom homes, and we're putting things into that 1430 work in progress. But all of these little things show you how you can make some changes, sort of. Cost code, it was the GL account 36 for cost of sales remodeling that I really wanted that to be in, not in a balance sheet account, Carol. That's what happens by the convenience I provide you of providing a default GL for a vendor. You really should, while you're posting your bills, still pay attention to what GL you're posting it to. So now let's resubmit our search. And let's take a look at all of a sudden that all of the rest of these are zero because of the closing entry, but this one now has $500 in the year 2015. And maybe we produce another income statement after the one we printed on July 7th, and it's different now. If we want to find out why it's different or what may have changed since we printed it or since we posted this closing entry, notice here that I did the closing entry on July 7th, but then this entry, even though it was dated in December 2015 for the general ledger, was created on July 10th, 2016. Now, if you've done several of them, you might want to find out which ones those are. So you would use your search, and you do GL date of that. And I know I created my closing entry I can see it there on July 7th. So what I want to see is everything created July 8th, 2016 or after, and I don't have to put a date in. So I want to see entries that were dated for the general ledger in the year 2015 for these income statement accounts, but created on July 8th or after, so I can try to spot what's causing that $500 not to have been closed. And notice how when I did that search, I find this one entry that I just made. And so the result of doing that is if you're trying to figure that out and then you spot what happened if somebody came along and made entries after you did the closing, despite warnings about it, that you could either go delete your original closing journal entry that was created. You can go to journal entries and delete it and then just do it again. Print an income statement also and do it again. Delete that journal entry, and then if you go home here, under accounting, it's this job closing entries, and you'll need to watch the videos about it. It just creates an adjusting journal entry. So if I go here and look at adjusting journal entries, you're going to see I see this CLS 12 2015, and I could do a report of it so I could keep that before I deleted it. I can either delete it or I can go and just do another journal entry, but I kind of prefer to have it all in one. So I'm going to delete that one I did on July 7th that closed the books, and then I'm going to go back to my home, close books at year end. Some of these similar concepts could apply about job closing entries too, but maybe you'll get the idea from what I'm doing right now. And this particular builder closes into his owner equity account, his books at year end. So I'll just go ahead and post the journal entries for that. Is it okay? Okay. And it'll give me a little printout of the whole journal entry that was created if I want. But let's just get back to accounting transactions. And let's do a search. And let's not do this thing about created again. And let's just look at our accounts, those accounts again. Every time you do a search, it almost sort of refreshes it. Let's slide back over here and let's look at our cost of sales. Let's look at all these balances, 0, 0, 0, and 0. And cost of sales remodeling is now 0. Our closing entry now turned into 4,200, brought our income down actually by adding 500 to cost of sales. But hopefully that gives you a tip as to a tool you can use to find. You're just going, well, I printed this income statement, but I didn't block entries. When you do the current period and set up your current period on your company master, after you close the books, then the controller or somebody should go open the current period like you saw me show it just a minute ago on the accounts payable screen, or you go to your company master over here under setup, company master, and there's a place to change it right here. But after you close the books, you probably want to go for 2015 or something. You might want to go and tell it, because you control this, about where they'll get warnings. I could even tell it, no, don't allow it, and I wouldn't have been able to post that 2015 entry if the controller sets this to no, don't allow entries outside of the period. When I did it, it was set to allow entries outside of the period just to get a warning, because this says yes right here. So hopefully that gives you some idea about how to troubleshoot after you close the books if it seems like an income statement is changing or something from a prior year. Thank you for watching.